Okay, let's unpack this. Today, we're diving deep into a topic that touches every single person listening. Whether you're leading a huge team, steering your family, or just trying to navigate your own path, leadership.
Hmm.
But we're deliberately sidestepping the usual stuff. The charisma, the corner office, the power plays.
Exactly. We're exploring a model that goes much deeper, looking inward instead of just outward. It's about leadership rooted in your internal awareness,
Sure.
your true purpose, and your connection with others,
Right.
rather than just external power or popularity.
Our source material for this deep dive is drawn from Deepak Chopra's book, The Soul of Leadership.
And our mission is to really understand how this profound approach can unlock not just your own potential for being a great leader, but the potential in everyone you interact with.
So, for so long, we've thought of leadership as something reserved for a select few, right?
Yeah,
The most confident person in the room, maybe the most ruthless, the one with the most obvious charisma, someone who seems destined for it.
that's the old, very limited definition. And as the source points out, those external traits, like popularity or even ruthlessness, don't actually guarantee that a leader will improve anyone's life.
Hmm.
In fact, they're often historically linked to the abuse of power.
You look back through history and you see these figures who just seem to seize power, often unpredictably. And this idea that some sort of invisible hand picks out these so-called great leaders,
Mhm.
the source argues that's often just a narrative spun afterward.
Yeah, like justification. The new definition flips that entirely. It suggests that truly inspired leadership arises from responding to needs, both your own and the needs of others, but from a higher, more soulful level.
A soulful level.
It's built on vision, creativity, and a deep sense of unity with the people you lead.
And this is where it gets really interesting for you listening right now. This type of leadership isn't exclusive.
Not at all.
Everyone has the capacity for it. It starts simply by tuning into and listening to your own inner guide.
That connection is what defines a successful visionary in this context. It's someone who can actually take that internal vision of those invisible seeds of possibility and make them manifest
Make them real.
in the tangible world,
Yeah.
managing that process with genuine passion and energy.
And crucially, the purpose behind it is clear, and the results benefit everyone involved, the leader, the group, the wider community.
Yeah.
It's about creating results that aren't just temporary wins, but are sustainable because they're supported by a deeper awareness.
Now, it's important to clarify that when we talk about the soul here, it's not tied to any specific religious dogma.
Okay, good clarification.
It's presented as an expression of an underlying universal field of consciousness. Think of your individual awareness, your soul, as a unique wave pattern on this vast, connected ocean of consciousness.
Wow.
It's the silent domain from which all matter and energy emerge.
So there's this underlying deeper reality at play. Families, companies, even entire nations, according to this view, have these hidden spiritual drives and needs.
Right.
Inspired leadership isn't just some strategic ladder to climb. It's actually established in your very being.
And there's a beautiful ripple effect. As you fully unfold your own potential from this core, you naturally facilitate that unfolding in others.
Hmm.
They're drawn to that presence, they turn to you for guidance, and they, in turn, become more capable of their own enlightened leadership.
So the basic principle guiding this whole journey is the expansion of your own awareness.
Yes.
The soul, theoretically, has complete unblocked awareness, seeing every layer of a situation. That incredible perspective is available to us, but often it's obscured by our own internal static,
Or stuff.
our biases, our fears, our limitations.
Yes, and the primary journey of leadership, then, becomes one of identifying and removing those internal obstacles. And the fascinating part is, when you do this, things that used to feel like a struggle
Suddenly get easier.
suddenly become effortless. Your vision clarifies, the path forward becomes obvious, and it truly can feel like the universe is collaborating with you, providing the creativity, intelligence, organizing power, and love that fuels this kind of leadership.
So this source gives us a model for understanding leadership from the soul using the acronym LEADERS.
Right.
We're going to dive into some of those letters today.
Let's start with the first one, L.
L stands for look and listen. This is really the starting point. You have to define your vision and figure out how you're going to make it real.
Mm-hmm.
And that requires looking and listening both intensely inward and outward.
The source outlines a four-step process for this kind of integrated perception.
Mm-hmm.
First, the body. This is pure impartial observation.
Oh, look at camera.
Like a video camera, just
Mhm.
recording sights, sounds, physical sensations without filtering or judging.
Okay, so just raw input, then what?
Second is the mind. This is where analysis happens,
Hmm.
judgment, weighing options, generating ideas, interpretations. But, and this is a key distinction,
Yes.
the goal is to do this without your usual biases or preconceptions getting in the way. You want clear, unbiased analysis.
Got it. Analysis without the baggage. What's next?
Third is the heart. This is where you tap into what feels right.
Ah, intuition.
The source suggests feeling and intuition are often subtler and truer than just pure intellectual analysis. This is the level of sudden insight, the aha moments, your gut sense.
The intuition piece is huge. And finally, the fourth step.
The soul. This is the stage of incubation. You consciously let go of trying to figure it out, and the vision settles into a deeper, less visible place.
Interesting.
A profound intelligence, connected to that universal consciousness we mentioned, nurtures it, adapting it to the real-world needs. It's accessing that higher self, pure awareness,
Letting something bigger work on it.
allowing something greater to work on the vision. Yes.
That's so much more holistic than just sitting down and doing a SWOT analysis, which is often what traditional leadership training focuses on, right?
Okay,
It's just the mind step.
Exactly. Traditional training often heavily emphasizes analysis, leaving out the crucial insights available from the body's awareness, the heart's intuition, and the soul's deeper wisdom.
And you see the real-world results of this. People with all the external advantages, the best education, connections, high IQ, aren't guaranteed to be great leaders.
Nope.
The source points out that people starting with nothing can emerge as truly impactful visionaries because they tap into these deeper levels.
Think about the example of three people waiting for a meeting with a venture capitalist. One is completely consumed by their own nervousness, closed off.
Totally inward-focused.
Another is calmer, trying to assess the situation intellectually, maybe sensing the atmosphere somewhat from the heart.
But the third person is wide open, scanning the room, noticing subtle cues with their body, analyzing the situation but without judgment, sensing the energy with their heart, and probably checking in with an inner knowing about the fit. That multi-level awareness is the difference.
Or take historical figures. When Gandhi first arrived in South Africa, his eyes observed the obvious discrimination.
Right.
His heart felt the profound injustice and knew it was intolerable. His mind analyzed the possible tactics, identifying civil disobedience. But from the core of his being, from his soul, emerged the unwavering commitment to freedom and the vision for how to achieve it.
So leaders like Mandela, Lincoln, Gandhi, they weren't just processing information. They were accessing something deeper to find entirely new responses
Yes.
and turn those visions into reality.
And that connection to the soul is presented as the real secret. It's following a path where your body, mind, heart, and soul are aligned.
Alignment.
When you make that connection, your true purpose clarifies and becomes the foundation for everything.
Because as a leader, you're constantly giving of yourself, and what you have to give comes from your core.
Exactly.
The soul is that core, the source of insight, creativity, and intelligence. Tapping into it makes what you can offer potentially limitless.
The source even provides a practical process for connecting with this true purpose, starting with a purpose statement and refining it to a single word.
Oh, interesting. How does that work?
It begins with creating a soul profile. You ask yourself questions about your contribution, purpose, what you feel during peak experiences, your heroes, qualities you value in friends, your unique talents, best qualities in relationships, using just keywords.
Just keywords, okay.
From those keywords, you write a brief profile of your soul, almost as if describing someone else. Then you define your personal vision, describing the world you want to live in, the kind of organization or team that inspires you.
Kind of dreaming big.
The key here is to let go of logic and just capture what truly resonates.
Next, you merge those values and vision into a concise mission statement. The template suggested is simple. My mission behind everything I do is KEK.
Keep it simple.
It should be clear, simple enough for a child to understand, and memorable.
Chopra's own example evolved from something longer to the simple, powerful, to serve the world and all who live in it.
Wow. And the final step in this process is trying to distill that mission statement down to just one word.
One word.
Like grow, evolve, inspire, peace, serve. The source says hitting that most succinct word is a direct result of listening to your true self, which is essential for this kind of leadership.
And once you have that vision, that purpose, it exists to be shared.
Right.
And the way you share it matters. It should be with enthusiasm, which comes from that Greek root meaning in God, looking within your soul.
And with inspiration, from the Latin meaning to breathe or spirit, you're motivating others to breathe together in the spirit of that shared vision.
Situations crying out for leadership are everywhere. The next layer of this looking and listening is discerning the precise need within that situation,
The need, not just the goal.
which is distinct from just setting a goal.
Yes.
The source lists 7 universal human needs, arranged in ascending order of subtlety.
Right. From safety security up through achievement success, cooperation, esteem, creativity progress, moral values, all the way to spiritual fulfillment.
Mm.
A key part of the leader's awareness is correctly perceiving which of these needs is dominant in a group or situation.
And interestingly, the source suggests your own natural strengths will often align with how you're best equipped to respond to certain needs.
Oh, like a natural fit.
Are you the grounding force in a crisis? Safety, security. The one who knows how to rally people to win? Achievement, success.
Are you the natural bridge builder when there's conflict, cooperation? The one who feels a deep calling to higher purpose and can guide others towards healing and values, moral values?
Or do you influence simply through your state of being, radiating inner peace and wisdom, helping others sense that fulfillment is possible, spiritual fulfillment?
Recognizing your own inclination is part of the self-awareness needed for this leadership.
Definitely.
The real fruit, then, of all this internal and external looking and listening is that your actions are driven by your authentic vision and passion.
Because they flow from who you really are.
Exactly. And when you give of yourself from that deep place, you don't get depleted. You actually grow, and the people you lead grow with you.
It's presented as a merging of hearts, minds, and even souls.
And one practical way to deepen this is to make emotional intelligence a constant practice. In any situation, ask yourself, how do I feel right now? How do they feel? What are the hidden emotional stumbling blocks creating distance between us? A leader who consistently asks and addresses these questions is laying the groundwork for powerful emotional bonds.
Which brings us right to the second letter, in Leaders E, for emotional bonding.
Okay.
This isn't just a nice to have, it's presented as crucial for actually bringing your vision to life. The old school authority based on control or fear might get compliance,
Yeah, but not real engagement.
but often results in reluctant, half-hearted effort. Working with positive emotions, however, actively helps unfold the potential in others.
So it's about potential.
The leader, in this view, is like the soul of the group you lead by serving. Your influence expands significantly when others genuinely sense that you're willing to give of yourself.
Mending emotional distance is a core skill here. It involves being open enough to share your own feelings with people you trust.
Vulnerability.
And actively seeking out other perspectives. Understanding that emotions are tangled up with our beliefs and ego. You move past the need to be right by truly listening to other viewpoints.
This openness has a powerful effect on others too. It makes them feel more comfortable, energized, and clearer about their own emotions. Brain research actually points to limbic resonance.
Limbic resonance.
The way our emotional brains can entrain with others, sensing feelings almost without words. Stress and unaddressed negativity create distance and pull people apart.
So what are some key behaviors that build these bonds? The source lists several, starting with shared enthusiasm.
Yeah.
It's about shifting from this is great for me to genuinely feeling and communicating this is great for
It has to be sincere, though.
It has to be sincere. The leader says, let success be our success, and perhaps counterintuitively, let others make you great.
Genuine caring for others is fundamental. It goes way beyond formulaic greetings.
Right. Not just, how are you, walking past.
It's about actually caring about people's lives, making eye contact, being fully present when you talk to them, and responding naturally, not just running through a script.
And willingness to build a relationship, seeking common ground. The strongest adult bonds are between equals. While roles create an illusion of inequality at the soul level, everyone is equal. A soul-based leader understands their role, but is willing to step out of it sometimes for the pure pleasure of connecting person to person.
Another vital behavior is reinforcing the strengths of others. The most effective leaders focus on what people do well.
Makes sense. Build on strength.
You build a team by recognizing and actively encouraging the development of people's best qualities. And the praise needs to be specific and personal, not just a generic good job.
Needs to land. The source notes that conflict is almost always rooted in feelings someone feels unheard, disrespected, stuck.
Yeah, the feeling level.
Negotiation isn't just about tactics, it's often about addressing that feeling level.
Looking at this through the lens of those universal needs we mentioned. If the unmet need is cooperation, leading to jealousy or divisiveness.
Yeah.
The strategy is to find a shared emotion, maybe pride in their work, a desire for satisfaction, and build from there. You address the divisiveness directly, but without blame. Point out mutual benefits, be patient, and handle difficult negotiations privately.
Okay. What about the need for moral values? When people feel guilty or aimless.
There, the strategy is more about resonance. The leader speaks from their heart and soul, sharing their own peak experiences or values, and encourages others to do the same.
So modeling it.
It's about focusing on growth, being a role model for compassion and integrity, and gently appreciating the deeper aspirations in others.
And for the highest need, spiritual fulfillment.
The source says there isn't really a strategy. It's more about being in a state of light and allowing that light to spread.
Leading by being.
It's about understanding and accepting all people, feeling genuine compassion. When the leader is deeply in touch with their soul, their inner state of peace and unity can effortlessly lift the spirits of those around them. They lead through their presence, helping others sense that inner peace is passable.
The story of Nehru's rose is a beautiful illustration of this kind of emotional impact. Nehru, the prime minister, tossing a single rose into a crowd, and it happened to land at Chopra's mother's feet.
Wow.
And how that simple object, because of who gave it and the intention behind it, took on this almost mystical quality, transforming her status and sense of self
Powerful symbol.
in the eyes of everyone around her and in her own eyes. Inspiring that kind of love and loyalty, creating that kind of resonance is the mark of a truly successful visionary leader.
And this isn't just an abstract idea. It has real-world implications. The source references a Gallup study showing how impersonal many workplaces are,
Yeah, I remember reading that.
with very few employees feeling their manager truly invests in the relationship. This soul-based approach offers a way to heal that gap.
So this area of spiritual intelligence goes beyond emotional intelligence, focusing on values like love, compassion, joy, and inner peace.
Transpersonal values.
It's finding the sacred in the everyday, coming from a place of deep connection to the soul.
And it's not about learning a new skill set, but about uncovering who you already are at the soul level. We all have glimpses of inner peace, silence, trust, joy. The source suggests that these qualities come from our core being, and practices that help us connect with that core, like meditation, are invaluable.
A simple daily practice suggested is meditation on the breath, sitting quietly morning and evening for about 20 minutes.
Just observing.
Just observing your mind without getting caught in thoughts, gently resting your attention in the chest area and following the natural flow of your breath.
And the reported changes from consistent practice aren't just about relaxation. People experience unexpected joy, a sense of peace even in activity, clearer self-understanding,
Less criticism.
more appreciation, less criticism, less need to control, greater trust, a willingness to go with the flow, and a deeper sense of belonging.
And this inner shift creates an effortless extension outward. You realize that whatever is inside you at that soul level must inherently be inside everyone else.
Right, we're all connected there.
A spiritually intelligent leader acts from this understanding, even if those qualities aren't immediately obvious in others, creating space for them to emerge this idea of nurturing in silence.
You accept your role as tending to the soul of the group.
A practical way to work on emotional intelligence today is to intentionally try to change the emotional tone of a situation. Observe a situation at work, with family, with friends, specifically from the feeling level.
What does it feel like?
What are the signs of emotional distance? Tension, lack of relaxation or laughter, avoiding eye contact, people not wanting to linger around you.
Then pick one or two behaviors from the source's list of 10 for mending emotional distance. Things like noticing and pointing out a strength in someone, offering a genuine compliment,
Simple things.
praising without expecting anything back, or simply finding a new way to show you care beyond stale routines. Try applying just one today and see what happens.
Ultimately, when it comes to people and feelings, the source suggests there are really only 3 kinds of situations. Those you can fix, those you have to put up with, and those you must walk away from.
Right?
The leader's role, using emotional intelligence and skillful coping, is to maximize the number of situations they can actually fix.
Take responsibility for fixing.
And doing this, overcoming your own fear or resistance to engaging at this level, is presented as a path to shared joy.
Let's move on to A for awareness.
Okay, awareness.
The source calls this the birthplace of all possibility. Everything you create, everything you become starts here. A successful visionary cultivates maximum awareness.
Why?
Because in complex situations, it's your awareness, not just logic, that tells you the right path forward among many.
Ah, so it's about navigating complexity.
And as a leader, your level of awareness directly impacts everyone. The group depends on your accurate grasp of the situation. And you have to reach inside yourself to find that accurate grasp, that right response.
Mm-hmm.
By cultivating awareness and fulfilling needs within yourself first, you automatically help raise the consciousness and potential of the group.
And this isn't the same thing as just analytical thinking.
No.
The rational mind, brilliant as it is, simply cannot calculate all the possibilities in a fluid human situation. We know this intuitively. We often make decisions based on a gut feeling.
And then justify it later.
And then use logic to justify it afterward. Yeah.
Brain studies support this. Decision-making isn't just one logical center firing. It involves many parts of the brain,
Like choosing bananas.
much like the complex process of choosing something simple like bananas.
Mm-hmm.
Experiments have shown that even subconscious exposure to emotional images can influence our willingness to pay for things, demonstrating that the ideal of a purely rational decision is often an illusion.
That emotional layer is always there.
That emotional intuitive layer is always present and impactful.
So if you're only relying on reason, you're missing out on the immense unseen power of your broader awareness.
Right. Awareness, in this context, is synonymous with consciousness. Spiritual traditions see it as infinite and everywhere. Even secularly, it's recognized as vast and largely untapped. Your thinking mind is just the very tip of this iceberg.
Okay.
Consciousness, operating silently, manifests itself through 7 fundamental personal attributes. The source suggests these mirror the 7 needs a leader can fulfill.
What are they?
They are, in ascending order: centeredness, self-motivation, coherence, intuition, creativity, inspiration, and transcendence. The most effective leaders, the source says, are finely tuned into all 7 levels.
How do you cultivate these, both in yourself and in a group? The source suggests practices. For centeredness, simple body awareness, focusing on breathing or gently resting attention on the heart space can reduce stress.
Basic grounding.
For self-motivation, recognizing it stems from strength, you can have people identify strengths in themselves and others and help them build action plans around those strengths.
For coherence, which is about building bonds, people can pair up, agree on a mutual benefit from the partnership, and check in regularly, even briefly,
Build connection.
sharing their experience with the larger group to build connection. For intuition, sharing confidences in pairs or completing a sentence like, "The thing I want others to understand about me is," allows people to be heard and understood on a deeper level, which strengthens that intuitive bond.
The source mentions creativity involves embracing the new, and inspiration is about higher calling and transformation, but doesn't detail specific group exercises for these two in the provided text.
Right. But for transcendence, which is traditionally an individual path towards liberation or enlightenment, the source suggests 3 ways it can be shared in a group: being of service together,
Shared purpose.
sharing wisdom together, perhaps reading inspiring texts, and consciously becoming a community in spirit. These practices help individuals and the group go beyond the small, separate self and touch that infinite consciousness.
The ultimate visionaries, like saints and sages.
They embody this highest level, yes.
Awareness, it's stated, is perhaps the most powerful force for transformation. When you cultivate completeness inside yourself, even the most challenging external circumstances lose their power over you. The prime example given is Nelson Mandela on Robben Island. He went in as a passionate rebel who had accepted violence,
Right, quite fiery.
but emerged after 27 years transformed, having transcended hatred and bitterness.
An incredible transformation.
That inner cultivation, that expanded awareness forged during his ordeal, was the source of his incredible insight, his ability to nurture a nation, to inspire a unified vision, and to achieve a level of transcendence that averted a predicted bloodbath.
Amazing. Yeah. And those qualities, born of consciousness, are available to everyone. The seeds of greatness are planted with awareness. Following that inward path of truth and clarity means the outer world will respond to your intention,
Proving the path.
proving the rightness of your path, even if the responses are unpredictable.
So, the key lessons of awareness here are: leading from the soul means continuously expanding your awareness to meet needs.
It's an ongoing journey.
Invisible powers support your vision. Consciousness has innate qualities that you can cultivate in yourself to raise the consciousness of the group.
Ripples outward.
And the ultimate goal is that transformation and liberation. When you are free internally, you are whole. and your being aligns completely with your vision.
Let's move on to D for doing.
Action time.
Vision is essential, but action is what brings it into the world. Your action and vision must be compatible, and that requires skill. But that skill doesn't just mean being competent.
It's more than competent.
It starts with you walking the walk, genuinely energizing others, and recruiting them to join you.
Every situation calls for the right action, and your awareness tells you what role you need to play in that moment.
Yeah, the situation calls a rollout.
It's almost as if the situation itself calls out the role. Successful visionaries are incredibly flexible, and this flexibility is seen as stemming from the soul's infinite capacity for adaptation.
The source gives 6 keys to successful action. First, make a personal commitment. This isn't just a motivational speech. It's a specific investment of your time, attention, energy, maybe resources.
Skin in the game.
The group needs to see and know your commitment, and you need to ask each person for their commitment too. This lays the groundwork for the working plan, and you have to follow up and deliver on your promises.
Right, that follow-through is key.
Remember that low statistic about managers investing in relationships? This commitment is how you start to recruit others on a deeper level.
Second, act as a role model. Be willing to do exactly what you're asking others to do.
Walk the walk.
You lead by serving fully. Third, commit to good, honest feedback. You have to create an environment where people feel safe telling you the truth.
Even the tough stuff.
And when you give feedback, be candid but constructive, acknowledging contributions first.
Fourth, be persistent. There will be setbacks. Obstacles are guaranteed. Unwavering persistence, seeing things through, is a huge asset, especially when others start to doubt or fear failure.
Keep going.
Fifth, take time to celebrate. Acknowledge significant achievements. Create moments of genuine celebration. Avoiding burnout is key, and celebration offers a tangible taste of the future success you're working towards.
And the sixth key, recruit others, as you mentioned, ties back into that personal commitment and investing in relationships.
A visionary leader isn't just looking for a competent team. They need actions that feel authentic.
Authenticity.
As Italo Magni put it, if you're talking with your head, you're going to speak to their heads. If you're talking with your heart, you're going to reach their hearts. If you talk with your life, you're going to reach their lives.
Wow. Your actions are the most powerful form of communication.
Absolutely. And right action is specific to the situation. If you've cultivated your awareness, the situation itself guides you. The source links specific actions and roles to those 7 needs we discussed earlier.
Give me an example.
For example, in a crisis situation related to safety security, your role is the protector or crisis manager. Your action is to role model confidence and strength by staying centered in the chaos.
Be the calm center.
You seek feedback on how the crisis is shifting, you persist in addressing every aspect, and you celebrate by embracing those who were helped and collectively releasing the tension.
What about a different need, like moral values, if things feel empty or corrupt?
Then the role shifts to transformer or inspirer. You role model a higher calling by upholding the values you speak about.
Live the values.
You seek feedback on internal shifts within the group. You're alert to moments where people act from their better nature. You persist with compassion, even through backsliding, and celebrations might involve rituals of thanks, drawing the group together spiritually.
And at the highest level, spiritual fulfillment.
The role is sage and seer, or pure light. You role model saintliness by simply emanating qualities of being, like love, truth, and peace. What you do almost becomes secondary to who you are.
Presence is the action.
Feedback comes from everywhere, honoring every unique path. You persist through understanding human nature, and celebration is about uniting with the source of everything, while others simply absorb your peace and joy.
Identifying the right role in a complex human situation is the leader's challenge, but the source suggests that being prepared at the deepest awareness level means every potential role is open to you.
Like the great leaders.
The greatest leaders, like Gandhi or Lincoln, were able to step into whichever of these roles was needed.
And while this flexibility is crucial for right action, there are certain values from within, from your soul, that cannot be compromised.
Non-negotiables.
The challenge is to know where to bend with the situation and where to hold firm to resolve the problem effectively.
To ensure actions are smart and effective in any situation, the source offers the acronym SMART, but with a twist from the usual business version.
Oh, how is it different?
This SMART is about S, stretch the group beyond its current grasp toward realizing the vision. M, measure every significant step, making progress tangible and visible, sharing information openly.
Transparency.
A, agreement should be the basis of decisions moving forward, avoiding arbitrary rules. R, record the unfolding story so everyone knows the journey they're on. And T, set time limits, not as rigid constraints, but as rhythms that respect personal timing while keeping the end goal in mind.
So it's about growth, visibility, participation, narrative, and rhythm. Interesting.
Acting smart helps avoid pitfalls like ego, relying only on yourself, or needing to be right, and lack of outreach, thinking you have to know everything yourself when intelligence is everywhere.
Mm. This idea of effortless right action reminds me of athletes talking about being in the zone.
Yeah, that flow state.
There's a paradox of being relaxed despite tension. A quiet focus, a calm certainty, a sense of witnessing your actions rather than forcing them, a feeling of allowing.
And the source suggests you can set the stage for that kind of zone in life. Like the body's automatic systems, heart, lungs, consciously stepping aside from trying to overly control everything allows life to flow, unfold, and grow.
Letting go of control.
Allowing means trusting that your soul's wants align with your deepest desires. When you trust that, the zone becomes less of a fleeting state and more of a way of being.
This is rooted in the idea that consciousness itself has an organizing power. The principles of allowing include letting events fall into place sometimes,
Trusting the process.
adopting a wait-and-see approach when you feel stuck, only acting when you feel truly clear and centered, allowing others to find their own way, tolerating diverse approaches, and trusting that your soul has a plan.
And the flip side is what not to do. Don't plan excessively. Leave room for spontaneity.
They'll micromanage.
Don't insist on a one rigid way. Don't try to nail down every single detail. Don't worry excessively about the unknown as it contains creative solutions. Don't take on the burden of knowing everything. And don't overthink or rush to control things when you feel uncertain.
The source makes an interesting point about disorder. Disorder isn't necessarily the enemy. Creation itself utilizes it.
Like chaos theory.
Nature's beautiful dynamic order isn't rigid like a mind-imposed structure. You don't have to struggle against perceived disorder or try to force arbitrary organization onto things. Don't add stress by resisting change just because it feels uncomfortable. Be open to the new order that wants to emerge.
Allowing, paradoxically, has tremendous power. It's not inaction.
No, it's active trust.
It's letting the soul reveal the next step, which can't always be predicted by the rational mind.
The environment surrounding your decision-making is a powerful indicator of whether you're truly tuned into your soul. The source lists 20 elements that are typically present when decisions are right.
20. That's a lot.
Things like being optimistic but realistic, free of undue fear or obsessive worrying, not blaming, not needing constant reassurance, genuinely wanting the group's best, assessing criticism with detachment,
Sounds like a very balanced state.
taking reasonable risks, trusting that a solution exists, encouraging independent thinking, not getting lost in unnecessary details, listening broadly, recognizing each situation calls for a unique path, giving honest but kind judgments, staying focused, appreciating positive input, setting reasonable rules, exercising authority modestly, and participating with genuine enthusiasm.
If most of those 20 elements are present, your decision-making is likely highly conscious and soul-aligned.
Right. If very few are there, it indicates inner blocks or resistance. The core message is you need to be clear inside yourself for your choices to be reliable.
So practical what to do today for the doing element is, if you're facing a decision and the environment around it, your internal state and the external signals feels off, postpone it if possible.
Take a pause.
Take time to find that clear, coherent, calm, self-aware place inside yourself. The secret is that every situation, externally, reflects your internal state. Trust that your soul wants the best outcome, and that expanded awareness will find the right path.
Clarity inside leads to results outside.
When things are clear and aligned in here, the right results tend to follow out there. Let's talk about the second E, empowerment.
Okay, empowerment. This isn't about exerting control over others. It's about recognizing and activating the soul's innate power, both in yourself and in others.
Power with, not power over.
Exactly. The source offers a powerful quote from Tagore. Power said to the world, "You are mine." Love said to the world, "I am yours." Love won. This is the highest spiritual lesson about power.
Wow. Empowering yourself begins with taking radical responsibility.
Not blame, but the freedom to choose your response.
Yes.
The source lists 8 areas where you can claim this responsibility. What you think, how you feel, how you perceive the world, your relationships, your role in society, your immediate environment, your speech, and your body.
Huh. Okay, let's break those down. Responsibility for what you think.
It involves recognizing that thoughts aren't random. They fall into patterns, habits. You can actively take responsibility for cultivating positive thought habits and pruning negative ones.
Mind hygiene.
It's about rising above the drama of your internal chatter. This takes self-awareness to see how your emotions or stress influence your thoughts, and trusted advisors can help. It involves both discipline for the craft of thinking and allowing space for spontaneous, subtle impulses, trusting that quiet, uh-oh feeling.
Responsibility for how you feel. That seems harder. Emotions just happen, don't they?
They seem to, but they also fall into patterns you can change, not by trying to control them, but by replacing trained negative feelings with openness. Negativity is often just a judgment against feeling a certain way.
Wow.
Untraining these patterns, like doubting new ideas or cringing at change, creates space for the soul's natural feelings to unfold. Peace, calm, joy, and the four divine feelings of Buddhism. Loving kindness, compassion, equanimity, and joy in others' success.
Higher emotions.
These higher emotions connect us beyond our separate selves.
Responsibility for how you perceive the world. That's fascinating. Perception feels automatic.
It does, but because possibility is infinite, choice is always present. A leader with expanded awareness sees more possibilities. The source suggests adopting a perspective based on the principle that higher evolution is unstoppable.
How do you do that?
A powerful exercise is reversal. Identify a fear-based perception, like seeing others as enemies or needing to stay out of the fray, and consciously reverse it to an evolutionary perspective. Maybe seeing the enemy as an obstacle your soul placed there for a purpose,
Reframing.
or recognizing that your aim is to evolve, which requires engagement.
Okay. Responsibility for relationships. That's tricky. It takes two.
It does, but you take responsibility for your part of the dynamic, recognizing that even in merged bonds, you have responsibility for your own actions and reactions. The rule suggested is simple. Praise when things are going well, and take responsibility for initiating change when they're not.
Don't wait for the other person.
Crucially, it means letting go of waiting for others to change for you to feel better. It's tied to self-sufficiency, the understanding that you are enough. You don't need others to complete you.
What about responsibility for your role in society? That feels big.
It involves recognizing your impact, even on a large scale, through your choices, how you vote, where you live, whether you volunteer. The source mentions research on social contagion,
Social contagion.
showing how moods, attitudes, even habits like smoking or weight, can spread through networks person to person, sometimes surprisingly far out. Positive influences are contagious too. Choosing your network with awareness of its potential positive impact is an act of responsibility.
You have influence even if you don't think you do.
Exactly. Terms like tipping point and critical mass capture this exponential spread of ideas.
Okay, responsibility for your immediate environment. How does that work? I am the world.
It takes us a step further,
Hmm.
suggesting that spiritually, the projection you create is total I am the world. You are the creator of this mirroring effect in your reality.
Right.
You can test this idea by comparing your inner state, in here, with the external situation, out there. The more self-aware you become, the more you see the connection. The source outlines 4 ways we shape our experience. Mood,
Your mood colors things.
memory,
Past experiences shape the present.
expectation,
What you expect often happens.
and perception, how you translate raw data into your reality. Spiritually, it suggests you perceive nothing but your own creation, that you can't participate in what you don't perceive,
Like radio waves.
and that at the soul level, you perceive and participate in everything. Draws an analogy to controlling details in dreams and asks if waking reality might be similar,
Shaped by consciousness.
shaped by the same consciousness. The deeper you explore your inner world, the more compelling this connection becomes.
Responsibility for speech seems straightforward. Be clear, kind, truthful.
Yes, align thoughts, feelings, intention. And finally, responsibility for your body tuning into its subtle feedback. Lack of sleep, heavy food, depletion. These affect your mind and decisions.
The mind-body connection.
It's profound. Your interactions begin and end with body feedback loops.
The source contrasts evolutionary and destructive behaviors in a group. Destructive things like gossip, complaining, blaming.
They lower the group consciousness,
Yeah.
create entropy, sap energy.
So you have to be vigilant. Evolutionary behavior aligned with the soul does the opposite.
Exactly. It actively raises group consciousness. It's the reverse of those negative patterns. The source lists 10 evolutionary behaviors.
Like,
Focusing on positive outcomes, Facing problems early, being attuned to group needs, taking responsibility for mistakes, being immune to negative opinion, showing confidence in delegation, being generous, open to information, promising truthfulness.
These aren't just skills to tick off, they have to be cultivated from a deeper place.
They align with the soul's inherent evolutionary power, and when you embody them, the universe seems to support you, subtly aligning you with evolution itself.
Empowering others.
Yeah,
How does that fit in?
it stems from the profound belief that all people have an equal right to power, not power over others, but the power of their own completeness, reflecting the soul's wholeness.
Many people hide from that.
Yes, settling for a narrow slice of their potential. Empowerment is about expanding their expectations by revealing that true power isn't grabbed. It's the soul's energy, intelligence, and creativity wanting to express itself through them.
There's joy in helping people see that.
Immense joy. Practical ways include telling people their strengths, discussing their sense of their strengths, assigning tasks based on those strengths, keeping them in mind when seeking input.
Gallup research identified 34 specific human strengths. Building a team with diverse strengths helps success.
Definitely. The source lists 21, like hardworking, analytical, empathetic, communicative, consensus builder, full of ideas, endlessly enthusiastic. Gaining insight into these helps you guide others to empowerment.
The story of Jeremy Moon, founder of Icebreaker, really illustrates this.
Yeah, great example.
His leadership started with passion for an idea, but evolved into unlocking others' potential. He realized key people stayed because of the culture. A consultant told him he wasn't being a CEO by just telling people what to do.
Ouch. Hard feedback.
He needed to build a network where others could figure things out. Letting go was hard, growth was slow at first.
Took time.
But as he learned to genuinely delegate, find the right people, trust them, give them power, the business accelerated dramatically.
From 5 million to over 100 million. Wow.
Empowering others meant trusting their judgment and giving them space. He says Icebreaker is fundamentally about the people and culture.
Moving on to R for responsibility.
Okay, responsibility again, but maybe a different angle.
Chopra suggests responsibility isn't a burden. It's the profound freedom to choose your response and your path. And running any significant endeavor ethically involves risk.
Stepping into the unknown.
Because you're stepping into the unknown. The source distinguishes between responsible risk calculated, assessed, and reckless risk. Jeremy Moon, despite seeming adventurous, emphasizes he only took calculated responsible risks with Icebreaker.
Responsible leadership requires taking risks. Refusing to take necessary risks is actually an abdication of responsibility.
But just as crucially, failing to empower others by letting go and allowing them the space to take their own responsible risks
That's also abdicating.
is also presented as an abdication of the leader's duty. Renata Black of the 7 Bar Foundation speaks about this. Leadership adds new layers of responsibility to people, finances, mission. She feels responsible for guiding others' growth and responsible to herself to make it count.
The sailboat analogy.
Emotional bonding is the boat, empowerment is the sail, and responsibility is the rudder that steers purposefully.
Nice visual. Finally, we arrive at S for synchronicity.
Synchronicity. The source suggests that successful visionaries aren't surprised by miracles. They expect them because they trust in constant support from the soul.
Trusting that deeper intelligence.
From that deeper organizing intelligence.
Yeah.
It's presented not as something random, but as a natural, effortless way to live when you allow your true self to unfold, which in turn opens the path for others.
Synchronicity, those meaningful coincidences, are seen as never accidental. They always have a purpose.
Right. They validate your true motive, proving that you can trust the guidance from your soul. As your awareness expands, the messages and synchronicities become unmistakable. The key is simply to open up and be receptive.
The source argues that leaders often credit good luck because they recognize there's something exceptional happening.
But lack a model for it.
But they lack a model to explain it. Synchronicity is presented as that model, not a mystical anomaly, but a fundamental process woven into the fabric of the universe.
Think about your own body. Billions of cells coordinating for a single thought. That's unimaginable synchronicity.
A miracle on an invisible scale.
Achieving a large-scale equivalent randomly is impossible. Coincidence simply doesn't capture it.
In those moments of synchronicity, the source says you feel embraced by the universe. You glimpse who you really are, not separate, but connected.
The world isn't random. Events are subtly arranged for the best possible outcome. Leaders who tap into this rely on invisible powers supporting their vision. And this support isn't just for a few chosen ones.
You can cultivate it.
You can cultivate it for your own personal vision. These sudden leaps, these miracles, indicate a strong soul connection. When you expect synchronicity, it appears, and the key is to pass that benefit on.
Regard synchronicity as normal, not abnormal. That's a big shift.
It is. Life couldn't exist without the coordination of ecosystems.
Hmm.
While materialism emphasizes randomness, our experience relies on awareness, meaning it's arguably simpler to accept a guiding intelligence shaping events,
Like that meaningful chance encounter.
rather than attributing everything to sheer improbable chance. Wisdom traditions have long held this view, and successful visionaries adopt it because it proves valid in their lives.
Evidence isn't always dramatic. It can be subtle shifts, problems dissolving, loneliness lifting.
Or just a flow of connections that feels effortless at the time, but reveals a pattern later. Personal change leading to this often happens in stages, from stuck to questioning, opening up, finding purpose, integrating.
Being fully present, the power of now, is relevant here. Joy is only now, but the present feels fleeting, maybe even disorienting.
The source suggests adapting in stages, respecting the part that clings to the familiar while encouraging openness. Your soul is always present. You don't need to seize it.
You can consciously enter this process by pausing to recenter, remaining open, catching habitual reactions.
Creating space for the new.
Pause, stand back, leave space for something new to emerge.
Going beyond traditional good and evil is also part of this. Seeing the larger whole that embraces opposites, conflicts serve balance, we limit ourselves by rigidly labeling things unacceptable.
You become tied to what you resist.
Unconsciously defining yourself by what you oppose limits freedom. Compartmentalizing the mind limits synchronicity. You only receive what fits your fixed beliefs. The soul is about growing beyond those.
Practices to be more receptive include taking the long view, seeing how past challenges benefited you.
Trusting present setbacks will too.
Realizing everyone operates from their current awareness level, accepting they're doing their best, investigating nature's balance, embracing the whole cycle.
Encouraging unity and discouraging divisions is key, not just through negotiation, but from a deeper view of reconciling opposites within yourself. Healing your own divisions radiates worth.
The soul's motto, I am enough.
As awareness expands, you become enough. Generosity and compassion, even for the fallen, are hallmarks of the greatest visionaries.
Real freedom lies outside the comfort zone. Unexpected bonds, new ideas liberate. Needs are stepping stones to liberating the spirit. I am the world affirms our true nature is unbounded spirit.
Align with that yearning, and you're guided daily. The journey's end is wholeness, inner divisions healed. The unknown draws you toward liberation. Each new horizon is a new place inside, until being and eternal being merge.
So, the lessons of synchronicity, leading from the soul, gain support of invisible powers. Expect miracles. Trust the soul's organizing intelligence.
It's evidence of that hidden intelligence coordinating creation, including your vision. Spiritually, the visionary journey is personal, each need fulfilled a step to liberation. When free, you're whole. Looking back, every miracle was exactly what was needed.
Jeremy Moon spoke about feeling in the zone when synchronicity aligns with inner purpose. His ability to create intensified.
A secret.
Not holding on too hard, not getting attached to outcomes. Openness to possibilities feels alive. He believes synchronicity comes from that creative place.
Be open, state desire, attach intention, see where it leads.
He found it's most effective when connected to personal meaning, the true core of leadership.
So to bring it all together, the core idea of this deep dive into the soul of leadership is that leadership is fundamentally an inner journey.
Inside out.
It's about expanding your awareness, taking responsibility for your inner state and its impact on your outer reality, and cultivating a deep trust in a hidden intelligence that supports your authentic vision. This approach, rooted in the soul, has the power to benefit not just you, but everyone you connect with.
And here's a thought for you to sit with. If leadership is truly about aligning with your soul's deepest purpose and trusting that a universal intelligence is supporting your intentions, what previously unimaginable possibilities could open up in your own life and work if you dared to embrace this perspective? Or consider the idea that you are the world. If your inner state shapes your outer reality, what level of transformation could you unlock for yourself and those around you if you committed to raising your own awareness and embodying qualities like compassion, unity, and courage from that deep, soulful place?
Thanks for listening. Visit our library and subscribe below for more book summaries. This has been a Sprint Reads production.